What's up, guys? We got another game against the 2100 Henry Lee from Hong Kong. Maybe a first time. You'll see by the graph, pretty even game. He had slight advantages as white gets in hypermodern openings when you play them as black. We get a Pirc defense, but we just hold on tight until he makes a mistake, and we take him down with 85% accuracy. One bad move, I would say, like no crazy tactical blunder though, which is nice. D6, knight f6, going into the classical, g6, bishop e3. So if he developed his knight, I would have just developed my bishop. But since he's developing this side of the board, I'm gonna assume that he's gonna castle that way, which means that this is gonna be a very sharp fight, and I want to make sure that I get to his king before he gets to mine. So I'm gonna start with c6, preparing b5 pawn storm if he tries to go that way. It looks like he's going that way because he's not developing his kingside pieces. So I'm just gonna go b5, saying, might want to think twice, buddy. Now he develops this way. Here I stay flexible and bring in the knight. He plays h3, kind of a waiting move. I develop my bishop, reasonable. He launches f4. I don't really like it. His king's not castled either way. And e5 is not that big of a deal. So I ignore him and kick his knight. His knight goes to the back rank. And he's not castled. It's not entirely clear what to do. I play a5, defending my pawn. Now I could play on the queen side somehow. Stuff like this. And his piece looks a little awkward. His king, not sure where it's gonna go. So it makes sense. He contests my little pawn chain that I created, but I ignore it. I challenge this diagonal. My bishop wasn't gonna go anywhere this way. I probably had other options, but this seemed reasonable to me, to just get rid of his light square bishop if I could. And he takes it, and I take it. Maybe he could have taken here, and I would have taken here. So he didn't want me to take this pawn because it's obviously a very important pawn. So he defends this pawn and attacks my rook. I didn't want to move my rook, and I did want to improve my queen. There we go. So I defended it this way and thought I had a nice diagonal this way. Like if I play c5, this is hit twice. So he develops his knight, and I castle. And the game's even, and he's got this imposing center. And now he castles. He's ready at any time to push. I say, let me get my last piece in the game. The only piece that's not doing anything. I said, let me put it behind my B pawn and support what I'm doing on the queen side. Makes sense in my head. They wanted me to initiate action immediately in the center, I think, with one of these pawn pushes. But still, I like my move. He bypasses it and goes c4. Now he has 4 pawns in the center. And I have these. It all depends on if these are weak or strong. Now I strike in the center with c5 and I open up this, hitting twice. So I'm kind of encouraging him to go d5, which he does. a4 looks like it makes sense here. I went 98 first. I don't remember why, but I don't mind this move. I guess it's you gotta calculate and find out why, but I'm not gonna do that right now. I was opening up the diagonal, and then I wanted to push my A pawn. And having this diagonal open is always good anyway, for various reasons. So he moves his queen back and defends his pawn. And now I get to follow along with my plan, a4. He gets his knight off the back rank, defends the pawn, plugs the hole. And now I get to do my plan, a3. This guy goes b3, and they say it's brilliant because his best move is to hang the rook. But if you don't do that, then I'm gonna take you, and this is gonna open up, and this guy's gotta move, and it's gonna be way worse. So it's like, oh, it's a force move. It's why is it brilliant? But so I take it. He takes it, and now I say to myself, this is all locked. Now I need to get all my stuff onto the king side, because that's the only place that anything can happen. So I get my knight away so I can move my rook over and my queen over. He tries to build up another big pawn center, g4. It looks sensible, it looks reasonable. I slide my rook over, preparing to move this pawn, and moving my stuff over from the queen side to the king side. Now white pushes, and that's the hard thing to know, is when to push and when not to push. I'm not good at knowing when, that's for sure. So yeah, he pushes f5. And this was what I think was my big mistake of the game, is playing f6. Because not now, but eventually he could just take advantage of the square. And if I want to have any play in this game, I should probably try to break the center. Takes. This pawn might be weak, but maybe I have to go for it. So my idea was also to open up the light diagonal for my queen. But even then, he plays a natural move and the advantage immediately disappears. So So, as bad as it is, it still has ideas behind it, like what I said, queen e8. Knight comes to h3. I guess he's trying to just bring in pieces so he can fill that hole I just mentioned. But now it's saying black's better. And just like that, it says white's better. That's crazy. So they're saying this is what was his best move, and this was my best move, which is what I thought was going to happen, opening up the f-file. He plays h5, attacking me. I take it, and now he pushes, trying to pawn storm me. I try to bring my rook into the game the only way I can through here. There was actually an option of taking with my knight. He takes. I take with my rook. Queen here, rook here. I don't know if I'd do it, but I think it's good. Rook comes over to prepare to just steamroll me. It says it's even, but I feel like you have to be so accurate. I play h4 because that opens up a place for my queen. And after all, I am up in exchange and a pawn. So he pushes, trying to get the better of me. But I think he missed a couple details. I think I took, which I think he saw. He took back. I intermezzo queen g6 checked him, which I think he saw, which is why he went bishop g5, blocking the check and protecting the pawn a second time. But the move I think he missed, like I think he thought I might go h6 here, which I can go, but I think it was just far easier for me to play the move that I played, which was knight h5. I don't think he saw this move, which moves the knight out of harm's way, keeps the pin, adds another attacker, and threatens a fork, and threatens h6 because it's pinned. So I think this move he didn't, he calculated one move too short. King to the side to remove the pin on the bishop, so there's no h6. But now I can hit the queen and the rook. He has to move the queen, I take the rook. Now I play h6 anyway. He moves the bishop. I blockade with the king, just so I can double stack. Brings the queen up, I double stack. He moves the king. Now all trades are good for me. I'm up 2 exchanges. And then he just resigns because rook's just too good. And he had 12 seconds. He was a slow player, actually. I was up a lot of time that entire time. So more good results with the Pirc. Yeah, this was a little tricky. I think I navigated it well. I still like this move though. Call me crazy. I mean, yeah, I think this is the only move I might do differently. Yeah, I don't really understand the others. But that would be some improvement. Okay. We win again. keep going to 2100.